Good morning. 3 ways to deal with the lingering leftovers, chocolate, biscuits and Christmas cake in the house. If you're coming in, give me a hello. If you're on replay, drop a replay below. So obviously at the Christmas period, there might be a few more leftovers around, people bringing them in, and that's a good one tip. And I'm going to go over 3 things that you can do. And number 1 is to actually give yourself permission to include it as part of your diet. Maybe this is actually the issue. Restriction. Then it's almost like they're there and we feel like we need to gorge and get rid of it. There's no point getting rid of it. The faster you get rid of it, the more actually you're wasting food, right? And before you know it, it'll be Easter treats in the house anyway, with mini eggs hitting the shelves already waiting for you in the shop. So number 1 is to actually see if they can be part of your plan. Like, wouldn't it be fun to find out if they can be? Like, look at what you have there. Can you use them as a snack today? And I spoke to someone the other day and they were like, yeah, I had like some of the leftover chocolates and biscuits after my dinner. I then didn't have a pudding. I then didn't have the biscuits later on that I'd normally have. I just didn't really fancy them because I felt like I'd already had it. And there's a lot to be said for that. Feeling like there's a lot of psychology involved in this, but we know that, you know, if you have a milkshake that's like a diet milkshake, it could be the exact same milkshake, but the packaging says indulgent, smooth, creamy, and all of a sudden you're full up and more satisfied. And what if that was the difference? What if, you know, a 100 calorie, 200 calories chocolate or whatever was enough to stop you picking later, to stop you snacking more so later? Maybe. Now, for some people though, I get it. They're like, you know, I just need to get it out. And for me, I'm the same. Like, willpower, especially when I'm working from home, is the hardest part. You know, I do something, I'm like, go in the kitchen, go grab a coffee, or what's in there. And at the very least is I'll keep the foods as far away and as awkward positioned as possible. Of course, I can still make a decision as an adult to go up and get the cupboard like the kids do sometimes, get the chair around, stand up on the chair, and I almost just say, you know, fair enough, you've done the hard work, you got the chair, you've climbed up there and got it, go get it, eat your heart out. But we can make the choice to do that, and as adults we have that choice, but the harder we make it, the better. We know from research that keeping a fruit bowl in the middle of the kitchen, you're more likely to pick it. That's why I always move the fruit bowl in the middle of the kitchen. As much as Mrs. Fruci doesn't like where it is in the kitchen and sometimes moves it back, I move it back in, because I know that if it's opposite the fridge, the kids now have a choice. They walk in, there's a fruit bowl, there's a fridge. It's actually easier to grab a piece of fruit than it is to open the fridge and look in. So they normally grab a piece of fruit. It's interesting. Although it is a bit in the way, you could say, I quite like it because of the impact it has on choices, and myself as well. It's the easiest choice, whereas if it's around the corner a bit, I'm like, doesn't even take my head up. And that's a bit like where some of the ladies have said, of all the things you do at Fruci Fit, one of the biggest things was just saying, you know, put your toaster away, because I have to get the toaster back out. And of course, you can get it out and do what you want with it, but actually just making it a little bit harder, adding those steps in makes it a little bit tougher. Like, you know, we're the first to say, it's tough to get out the house, you know, to get in that exercise. When you've been at work all day, you get home, it's tough to get back out again. But it's similar. We're making it tougher the other way here to make those choices. So just keep them as far out of sight as possible. We know that when we're sat down watching TV, if they're 6 feet or more away from you, you're going to eat less, because you just have to get up every time. Like, imagine if you're in the cinema, instead of the popcorn being here, it was right at the front. You had to kept getting up, getting a handful, then back down again. You would definitely eat less. I'm very convinced on that, and we can apply that to our home. And finally, the final thing to do is to gift it. Take it to work, take it to other people, gift it to a food shelter or somewhere. Someone will want it and it won't be wasted. And don't worry about that, because we actually have, you know, by eating it anyway, are we wasting it anyway? That's the key thing to remember. And in terms of cravings, I do have a free guide. If you haven't seen that, comment with cravings below. I'll send that over to you. It's a little bit of a Friday fun treat in there. Plus, remember, on Monday, we start our free 5-day kickstart, 5 days of coaching, completely free, where we go through, break down your starting habits, small, simple habits, exercise, 10 minutes. You can apply it into your daily routine, no matter where you're at, wherever you're starting from, and to start to feel in control of those leftovers, of food, feeling more in control of comfort eating, getting a good grip on that and a handle so you can kickstart 2023, not just January, but beyond on that, setting the foundations, answering questions that are tricky to answer, that most will just ignore, and we'll get great results for a little bit, then we'll yo-yo and go back to where we were. The key thing is doing this work. So if you're in on that, I'll put the link to the 5-day kickstart below. Plus, if you want that free cravings guide, comment below for cravings, and I'll see you soon. Take care.